So today we are going to be learning about this story, My Greatest Olympic Prize, written by Jesse Owens, and another short story with written in very simple English. So I will just tell you the gist of it. Okay, so the story is set in the summer of 1936. The Olympic Games are being held in Berlin because Hitler childishly insisted that his performers were the members of a master race. Nationalistic feelings were at an all-time high. So Hitler, he insisted that the people from his country, they belonged to a master race. So the Olympic Games were being held in Berlin, and nationalistic feelings were at an all-time high. Our writer, he wasn't too worried about all this. He had trained, sweated, and disciplined himself for 6 years with the games in mind. So he had set his target on the Olympic Games 6 years before, and he had trained, sweated for it. And while he was on the boat going to Berlin, all he could think about was taking home one or two of the gold medals. And his focus was mainly set on the running broad jump, which was his specialty. And in this event, he had set the world record at 26 feet 8.5 inches when he was a sophomore at Ohio State University. So, because he had set the world record for running broad jump, everyone expected him to win the Olympic event hands down because someone and that person has set the world record. So naturally, people expect him to win the Olympic Games because he has set the world record for running broad jump. Then, when the time came for the broad jump trials, he saw, meaning our writer Jesse Owens, he saw a tall boy hitting the pit at almost 26 feet on his practice leaves. So he saw a tall boy who was almost reaching 26 feet. That also on his practice leave. So naturally, our author, he was a little bit scared. So uh, that tall boy, he was a German named Luzlong. So he was another athlete and he was performing for Germany. Hitler had kept him under wraps, meaning that Hitler had kept his identity and whatever event he was to be participating in a secret because Hitler had hoped to surprise everyone with his trump card, Laszlo. I guess that if Long won, it would add some new support to the Nazis' Aryan superiority theory. After all, I am a Negro, a little hot under the collar about Hitler's ways. So, if Luzlong had won, then it would add some more fire to the theory that, to the belief that Hitler had that his people belong to a master race. And naturally, our author J.C. Owens, he was a Negro, so he did not support and he hated the ideas of Hitler's master race. So, they say that he was a little hot under the collar about Hitler's ways and he was determined to go out in the field and show Der Führer, means Hitler, and his master race who was superior and who wasn't. So Jesse Owens, he wanted to show Hitler that that his master race, the German master race, was not always superior. So he wanted to prove that out in the field. An angry athlete is an athlete who will make mistakes, as any coach will tell you, and our author, he was also no exception. And on the first day of the three qualifying jumps, he leaped several inches beyond the takeoff board for a foul. So, generally, he was angry when he saw Laszlo, the German athlete, whom Hitler had kept secret, his identity secret, and he was in his practice leaps, he was reaching 26 feet. That got our Jesse Owens angry because, like I said earlier, because if Laszlo won, it would add more fire to Hitler's master race theory, ideas, everything. So Jesse Owens was angry, and The first of the three qualifying jumps, he failed. He leaped several inches beyond the takeoff board and he failed. And on the second jump, he fouled even worse. And then, so naturally, there was frustration. He asked himself, did I come 3,000 miles for this? To pull out of the trials and make a fool of myself. Walking a few yards from the pit, I kicked disgustedly at the dirt. Suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder. So he turned and saw that the German athlete, Laszlo, he, uh, it was him. He set a hand on our author's shoulder and he came to introduce himself, and they both of them introduced each other. And Lazlong asked our author that he is fine and how are you? What do you mean? I asked. Something must be eating you, Lazlong, he said, proud the way foreigners are when they have mastered a bit of American slang. You should be able to qualify with your eyes closed. So Lazlong says this, and our author says that believe me, I know it. And then for the next few minutes, they talked together. Our author did not reveal to Lazlong that it was he, and the fact that he was participating in the Olympic Games, Lazlong participating in the Olympic Games, that was what was eating the author. He did not reveal that, but Lazlong understood his anger. He understood why Jesse was angry, and he he took pains to reassure me. That is, Lazlong reassured Jesse. And although Lazlong had been schooled in the Aryan supremacy business, he did not believe any of it, like Jesse. So both of them had something common to talk about. None of them uh, believed the idea of Hitler's supremacy. So he gives Jesse Owens some advice that to draw a line a few inches in the back of the board and aim at making your takeoff from there. That is to make the jump a little bit behind from the takeoff board. That way he would not foul and his jump would be far enough to qualify. So and and being first in the trials does not matter, but being first in tomorrow is what matters. So is that what does it matter if you are not first in the trials? Tomorrow is what counts. And suddenly all the tension seemed to ebb out of my body, go out of my body, as the truth of what he had said hit me. And he followed Lazlong's instructions and he just qualified with almost a foot to spare. So he qualified. He qualified for the Olympics uh, after listening to Lazlong's advice. That night, he walked over to Lazlong's room in the Olympic Village and he thanked him and said that if it weren't for your advice, I would not be able to participate in the Olympics tomorrow. They sat and they talked for hours and hours about this and that, track and field, themselves, world situation, a dozen other things. And when he was leaving, he knew that a best of the best friendship had been formed between Long and Jesse Owens. Long wanted Jesse to win, because that way Hitler's supremacy theory would not get that additional fuel. So Lazlong wanted Jesse to win, even if that meant his losing and Jesse's winning. He still wanted Jesse to win. In the finals, Lazlong he broke his own past record, and when Jesse saw this, he also it pushed him on a peak performance, and he landed on the jump. It was 26 feet 5 and 5 by 16 inches. Lazlong was the first to congratulate Jesse, and Hitler glared at them, not 100 yards away, because he wanted Lazlong to win to prove his Aryan supremacy theory. Lazlong shook his hand and he shook his hand. And Jesse knew that it wasn't a fake smile with a broken heart sort of grip either. He knew that it was a genuine smile and he was genuinely happy that Jesse won. So Lazlong was genuinely happy that Jesse won. In the conclusion, our author said that He can melt all the gold medals and trophies that he has, and even if he melts all of those, it would not even form a gold plating on the 24 karat friendship that he uh, and Lazlong felt at that moment when he came to congratulate him. Our author Jesse, he realizes too that Lazlong, he was the epitome of what Perry de Coubertin, founder of the modern Olympics, must have had in mind when he said, "The important thing in Olympic Games is not winning but taking part. The essential thing in life is not conquering but fighting well." So Jesse saw Lazlong, and he realized that this man stands for what Perry de Coubertin thought of while he started the modern Olympic Games. He was the symbol of that. He represented all that. He showed Jesse that winning is not important, but taking part is, and conquering is not essential, but fighting well is very essential.